It's not saying it's muted though. What about now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Am I still muted? Damn, what the hell's going on? This shit be killing me. Should be killing me all the time. All right, forget. I'm gonna end this stream. Oh, I was about to say because this shit right here was about to get on my damn nerves. Like everything is saying it's a go. Everything's lit up green. I'll tell you, technical difficulties are ridiculous this day. But what's going on, Joshua Begami? What's happening, bro? Hey, we're gonna have the E-race going this weekend. Thank you, Joshua. Hit saying that. Thanks for cluing me in. Bow. I don't know what's going on. YouTube been acting crazy. It was down last night, then it's coming back up. So bam, we in here. Bet. Joshua, you better be there for the race this Saturday, bro, at 2 p.m. But I know you got special things going on, and I do plan on posting Joshua's. He's gonna be getting his award for winning his championship. So big shout out to Joshua. That's a little bro. That's my little bro, the fam. Don't mess with him unless you want to mess with the Wolfpack fam. He's gonna go on and do great things. But we were getting into saying if you want to be in the Wolves Den, then you need to join the family group where you can have access to the guests that come in and ask your questions in real time. I saw a lot of people inquiring about that. Oh no, Joshua, you're not gonna try, bro. You're gonna do as far as being great. But if you can make the race, then that'd be cool, bro. I know you had a rough time last time. But it's gonna be same time this Saturday, 1400 Eastern Standard Time, and then 1900 GMT or UK time. So let's get into this. We're gonna be talking about Jamie Chadwick. All right, we're talking about Jamie Chadwick, and we also gonna talk about somebody else. But we're going to go ahead and talk about Jamie Chadwick first. We're going to hint to a little bit of Colton Herta as far as some of that is going on. And we're going to get on to the Danny Rick. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to get to Jamie Chadwick. And, you know, I'm just going to let these things kind of cycle through. So Jamie Chadwick, big shout out to Jamie. Big shout out to Andretti for actually stepping up and doing that, because I think it's a big thing. I think it's a bit of an indictment on Williams. Williams not like stepping up to do something for Jamie, I think was a little bit egregious to me. I know a lot of people are going to say like, oh, well, Jamie, she's not good enough. She's not fast enough. I don't think that's true. I think there were opportunities to be offered to her, given everything that she's done. What's up, G5MDS? What's up, Galactus? What's up, Sylvia Witt? What's up, Mary Beanie? What's up, Akondu? Everybody, what's happening, fam? I think there were opportunities that they could have offered Jamie given what she has done. And Jamie has done things in the W Series, right? And that's all that you can ask of a driver. You put a driver or a driver gets to a certain series, you want to know if said driver can compete and win. Jamie did that. Not only did Jamie did that 3 times back-to-back, 2019, 2020, and 2021. So she's been winning, right? She's been doing her thing. She's been winning. All right, so it's not like she was a bum in her series. She competed in her series, and she won in her series, and she won a championship in her series. So I think that there should have been an opportunity presented to her in the Formula Series, whether that be F3, F2, somewhere in even Formula E. There should have been an opportunity presented to her there to give her the chance to show, can her skills, can she adapt, can she elevate, can she rise to the occasion? And I do honestly believe she can, but they didn't. Or at least that we don't know of an opportunity that was presented to her that would have been worth her taking. But I do know this. Andretti stepped up. And Andretti's another entity, another corporation, another organization that we have been talking about in Formula One as far as not being able to enter Formula One, right? Not being giving the green to go ahead and get a team on the grid and enter that. Now, whether Andretti had I don't know if they may have not had the finances to acquire a team, but I don't think that was the problem. I think the thing was Andretti wanted to come in as a new team, which means they would have had to pay the dilution fee of $200 million, which gives the existing 10 teams $20 million each to basically say, I want to come into the good old boys club. I know we haven't heard much about Porsche. I was hoping that Porsche and Andretti might team up in order to sway Formula One's decision on allowing them in, because they were already going to let Porsche in. We do have the entry of Audi pretty much locked in, getting the Sauber chassis. So they're going to come in with an existing chassis, their power unit, their whole livery, everything else like that. I don't know the driver lineup for them yet. But with that being said, Jamie, I think, is in a good opportunity with Andretti. You know what I'm saying? I think she really is. I know some people might be like, it's a step back. I don't think it's a step back, honestly. I think it's a step, maybe if at minimum, step sideways, but in an avenue that may open up opportunities for her in a better way. Don't forget, Andretti is in a lot of motorsport racing series. Okay, they're in Indy, they're in Extreme E, they're in F2. They're like not F2, but they're in Extreme E. They're in Indy. They're in Indy Light, which is now Indy Next. They are in IMSA. They're in plenty of racing series, but the most important one that I like that they're also in, especially for Jamie, if we're talking about her potentially getting to the Formula Series, is Formula E. They're in there. So now that she's with the Andretti Autosports Club and she's going to be doing Indy Next, now we want to see if she can progress to IndyCar. All right. I think that's going to be in NTT. I think that's what that's going to be. Can she progress to that? I would like to see that. And I think that's why this is a good. Don't forget, Andretti's going to be launching, or they're going to be building their big ass complex, their headquarters. It's going to be crazy. Blake talked to it. So there are a lot of things that Andretti is doing, right? So Indy Lights, in Indy Lights, which I think is the new rebadge for Indy Next. Don't quote me on it. It's something like that. But Indy Next is a rebadging for another Indy series. But I want to see if she can go ahead and crawl up or fight her way up in that Elite Series, or does she get the opportunity, especially getting her points up? Would she have the opportunity to go into Formula E? And that would be nice to see something, all right? That would be nice to see if she could do that. Don't forget, Nick DeVries was in Formula E as well, all right? He got his opportunity in Formula One, drove several teams in practice and qualifying, and then the race, and now he's going to be with AlphaTauri in 2023 with a Formula One seat. I would like to see if Jamie might have a certain route with that. Don't forget, Colton Herta is also a driver for Andretti Autosport. So Andretti's not slouching by any means necessary. I don't think people can look at them and say, oh, Andretti, they're just not a good opportunity for Jamie. Andretti can't offer anything. She's got a big-time global sponsor now. DHL is a sponsor. Literally. So that's another opportunity for Jamie to be working alongside a global sponsorship like that with DHL in Indy Next with Andretti Autosport. Like, she's got, I think that's a good avenue for her from the W Series up. So I'm lightweight even calling that a step up, really. Really, I'm calling it a step up because I don't see a good bridge built between Formula One and the W Series as they should have. I think they should have done a lot better with that handover, with that being a feeder series for drivers that compete. If you win 3 times over in the W Series, there should have been an opportunity for F4, F3. There should have been at minimum F3. Honestly, there should have been an opportunity for that. Big shout out to Mary Beanie, birthday or not. I'm here with the fam. I'm going to keep her for a day on Sun with the Penguins. At least Andretti gave her a chance. Big shout out, Mary Beanie, and happy birthday to you. Mary had her birthday going on. That's our birthday lady or birthday woman of our family. So big shout out to you, Mary. But yeah, I do think that something should have been done for that. I do think that Jamie should have had an opportunity, but now Jamie does have an opportunity, and I'm really excited to see. Now I'm going to have to follow like Indy Next just to keep up with Jamie and see what's going on with that. Still going to be seeing what's up with the Colton Herta situation. There was a big clamor about Colton at first with that whole situation with him coming into Formula One and trying to fudge his super license numbers. He didn't have all the points there for the super license. Now that's kind of died down. I want to see what's going to happen with Colton Herta going there. We got Logan Sargent going to Williams, just picked his car number. There's some ifs and ands and pros and cons about that altogether. But there are a lot of things going on with driver movement, driver development, drivers getting acclimated. Oscar Piastri now has an opportunity. We saw before the end of the season, fully acquired by McLaren, now working out the financial situations with Alpine. So, yeah, but Jamie is now part of that driver movement, and I think she should be on your radar as to watch and see what will happen with her and where she is going to go from here. So that's pretty much it. And let's be for real. We've seen, I think, drivers that weren't on the level still get an opportunity. Look, Antonio Giovinazzi got an opportunity to come back in the practice, and he spins out and wrecks right there and then. But he got the opportunity. He was in Formula One, then he was out down to Formula E, and then he gets an opportunity to come back with Haas and does a horrible job. There's no reason why, if I can watch that, I shouldn't be watching a Formula One team on the grid give Jamie an opportunity, or at least sign off on her having an opportunity in F3, F2, period. Like, let's put you in these cars and see what you can do. So that's what I'm saying right there. I'm sticking by it. I think this is a good opportunity for her. I think she can definitely do some good things there. And now let's get and talk about Daniel Ricciardo. Ricciardo, Danny Rick, all of that. Dan, whatever you want to call him. Listen, did you all see or did you listen to that Beyond the Grid, that interview with Daniel? I'm telling you right now, I listened to it and I didn't hear, if I never knew Danny Rick raced in Formula One, I would think he was not a real competitive person. I don't think that there's a competitive gene right now in Danny Rick. If it was, it just left all of a sudden and now he's just kind of chilling. I didn't get like him really wanting to compete on the grid. I just got like Danny Rick wanting to live life. Honestly, it just sounded like he just wanted to go and live life. I wasn't getting any of the vibes from Danny Rick where I was like, yo, this dude is serious about trying to come back. I just think he right now is trying to get some things situated, and he's going to want to come back and compete at a high level in Formula One. I didn't get any of that. I really didn't get any of that. I was really kind of shocked by it too. So big shout out to, hold on, we got another one up here I might have missed. We got Mary Beanie, and so big shout out to Mary Beanie. I didn't see another super chat. I thought there might have been another one. I don't want to miss that. But yeah, I didn't feel anything about Danny Rick wanting to compete. It was a bit disturbing, honestly. I mean, think about it. Red Bull has now acquired him, right, as their reserve driver. I don't think Red Bull acquired him to drive shit. I think Red Bull acquired him for two reasons. One of those reasons is good PR. I mean, we might not even see Danny Rick. If you go back and listen to that podcast, we might not even see Danny Rick until Melbourne. I think that's going to be the third race on the schedule. By the way, the Chinese GP has been right now, I'm going to say right now, I'm not going to say just 100% canceled, but right now the Chinese GP is not looking to be tentatively on the 2023 schedule due to the COVID situation going on over there, which has affected many other things just besides Formula One, iPhone sale releases, and all types of other situations. I personally have a childhood friend whose brother was unable to even go back into Asia and get his stuff, like literally had to just say goodbye to a lot of his belongings. So that is crazy going on over there. But right now, Formula One has tentatively removed the Chinese GP from the 2023 schedule. But it's not like Danny Rick would have been there driving anyway. So Red Bull have acquired him for good PR. Max is not good for PR. Max is good for driving and winning so long as he has a good car like any other driver needs. Mary Beanie, Danny Rick is there for show, and telling you Nick is. Okay, so basically Mary thinks Danny, I believe, and I'm with you on the Danny for show. And I've also said that Nick DeVries will lightweight, I think, end up at Red Bull. They will have a Netherlands driver lockout at Red Bull. I don't know if Perez is going to extend his contract. I think they brought Danny Rick in until that bridge can be made with Nick to see if he actually can compete to the level they wanted. Because this is what Red Bull does, right? They use AlphaTauri as their feeder team to see if drivers can compete. What will you do there? And then they bring them up. We saw with several other drivers, okay? That's what they do with their lineup. Red Bull literally have 4 cars and 2 teams on the grid, which I think is something that definitely needs to be broken up. I don't think that should be the case there. I think that needs to be, I honestly thought maybe even Andretti could acquire AlphaTauri and have that as his team and badge that as Andretti Auto Group or Auto Sports. And I think that should be done. I think that's a lot of gray area that shouldn't probably exist there. But Danny Rick, he's going to even hint to situations that were between him and Lando where he was like tense off. And the way he talks to it is like there wasn't a lot of difference between me and Lando in this season. I just was a little bit off. No, Danny Rick, this is not true. Lando was far better than you this season, period. Lando was far better than you. Lando had 122 points. Danny Rick got 37 points. Championship points, 37. I don't even like to say championship points because it almost kind of like makes it seem like it was good. 37 points to Lando's 122. That's not close, bro. Zero, what's going on? Danny is on the first part of his journey and getting back to F1. He said that jumping back into F1 right now is not what's good for him right now. That's true. Zero, that's true. And big ups to you. That's what he said. But it's not only what he said, it's the many things that came along with that and kind of how he sounded anytime a question came back to him, like being competitive. And if a main team he even said that I'm glad a main team didn't approach me because then it's like I almost got to sign it. And that's what he's been doing for the bag. He really been moving around the grid for the bag. Okay, because he really shouldn't have left Renault, which now is Alpine. He should have stayed there. He made that move to McLaren. We can't say that the MCL 36 was just so horrible that Danny Rick shouldn't compete. Lando was 7th in the championship. Danny Rick was 11th. Lando had 122 points, and they even really gave team orders for Danny Rick to get a little bit more points, which Lando was trying to acquire those points, and they didn't. And I think they did that to try to assist Danny Rick with his mental health and his confidence in the car because he wasn't doing even close to what Lando was doing. There were times and glimpses where we could see Danny Rick was doing better, but it seemed like anytime it came to the GP, that left. We would see good glimpse of Danny in practice and maybe even certain glimpses in qualifying, and then he falls off before we get to Q3. No, it's not the same. Lando had at least 2 fastest laps and at least I think he made podium once in this season. Danny Rick got none of that. None of that with the same MCL 36. And I don't think we had a situation where they were developing the car just so one driver dominant as we know Red Bull was doing between Max and Sergio. I don't think that was the situation. Red Bull was developing the car Max dominant. All right. And Sergio even said as much to this in a conference that he had, and this is not the situation at McLaren. So Danny Rick is purely, to me, a PR piece for Red Bull. Try to help us skew some of these things that Max is going to do, that the Red Bull team are going to receive as bad blows in the PR. Danny Rick is that. He's a real lovable guy. The beef between Maxi Pad and Checo is because allegedly he made pass at Kelly Piquet. That woman, nothing but trouble. Danny Rick, his love is not in F1. Hey, Mary, it's so much coming out. We already saw, whether it's confirmed or not, that Max Verstappen's mom put out dirty, so-called a rumor about Perez cheating on his wife. All right? That's what she put out. And this only came out after Max made himself look like a fool, look like a person that he is. He's got low integrity. He doesn't have good character. This is just what it is. That doesn't mean it stops him from winning because he's winning, right? But we're talking about Max as a person is not a good person. And it's just funny that all this stuff comes out about Perez, allegedly comes out about Perez. He wrecked in Monaco. Okay, whatever. Well, where's the investigation from the FIA about another crash gate? Because that's lightweight what that would be. And then he cheated on his wife. Okay, well, Max does plenty of horrible things that lead to bad character, but you're not saying anything or boasting about that. It's almost like the whole situation is blowing up to try to cover what Max has done wrong. Now here we are, Mary's bringing up the fact that he may have made a pass at PK, which was part of the PK name is part of the Crashgate situation with Fernando Alonso and PK. So that's not anything that's like not known. You should know this, right? But here we are. You're talking about Perez crashed the car on purpose in Monaco. Well, there should be an investigation for that, and we haven't seen one. I haven't heard of one being launched. I haven't heard of one being possibly done. All of these things are coming out to try and make Max Verstappen look justified in what he did in Brazil and what he did or did not do in Abu Dhabi. And that's where part of their problem is. So that's why Danny Rick is there, I believe, for that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, if we got a situation like that, you're talking about, PK Jr., with the crash gate. You talk about Nelson PK with his horrible statements that he made. You know what I'm saying? We got all that racial derogatory shit that was going on towards Lewis Hamilton. So it's just, it's just not a good look for Red Bull, and they're getting Danny to try to sway some of those or try to deter some of those bad looks with Danny's character. He's a good guy. I met him in person in a small time that we spent talking. Danny was really cool. He does have that charismatic part about him. He really is a funny guy. He really is a pretty cool dude to be around. Now we're talking about right now about Danny Rick's performance and what he's going to do in Formula One. He's going to do nothing in Formula One right now. I don't see him doing anything. I don't know if I even see him doing something going forward. It's almost like Red Bull should be an opportunity for Danny to get back in a competitive car and drive competitively and get his reputation back up as far as being a very competitive and challenging driver. And right now he's not looked at as that. And that's not how we're looking at him with Red Bull. We're not looking at Danny Rick at Red Bull like he's going to come in the RB18 next season and wreck shop. Right now, that's going to be Perez and that's going to be Max. In lightweight, I would say Nick DeVries has a better opportunity of doing that before Daniel Ricciardo does, unless one of these drivers gets sick. And then we're going to really see, is Red Bull going to put Danny Rick in the RB18? If Nick even remotely gets brought up for some time being and leaving AlphaTauri to drive a damn reserve driver drive their car while Nick fills in at Red Bull, that's going to tell you something. Even if we don't see Nick come up, we see Red Bull bring in another driver to drive in the place of Max Verstappen or Checo, Sergio Perez, while they are absent for 1 or 2 GPs, depending on what may happen, because you got to understand COVID's still out here, the flu's still out here, anything may happen. If anything happens where those 2 drivers, Max and Perez, cannot drive the car, and we see anybody other than Danny Rick fill that seat, that tells you right there that Red Bull only acquired Danny Rick for PR purposes only. And we're talking it. Oh my gosh! Listen. Oh, I'm not gonna even pay attention to that. It's pointless. Like, get your platform and get up there and let me see what you do. Do that. All right. Okay. Everybody knows what the hell I mean. So we're gonna do that. So there are no excuses. We even saw him do as much, and Danny even talked to as much about Max pushing Ocon, and he said it really wasn't that bad. I'm sorry, brother. If I'm in the paddock and you come put your hands on me, bro, I'm gonna do something. Galacticus, Danny Rick will be cooking the books for next year. Oh shit! Oh shit! My bro said Danny Rick gonna be cooking the books. That's what Danny Rick might be doing. And he was talking about food. He talking about he got a food business. So Danny Rick might be brought into Red Bull to make sure they get these books right so they don't have to go up to the ABA or the Cost Cap Adjudication Board next season. Because it's guaranteed right now to me, he's not going to be driving the next variation of the Red Bull car at all. Whether they call that the RB19, RB hot sauce, whatever the next Red Bull variation car is going to be for 2023, I don't think Danny Rick is driving in that seat. I'm just saying, point blank period like that. Danny Rick also talked to the dinner that they had with all the drivers for Seb's farewell that Lewis Hamilton definitely facilitated and made happen. And he was saying that whole situation was just different, none like any other time that these drivers had gotten together. And I'm going to say a big part of that is because Lewis Hamilton was part of that. That's why. It's different when Lewis Hamilton is part of things. Another reason is Seb's farewell. And Seb is another driver that many people like. You know what I'm saying? Seb, when I met him personally, in the time we spent walking down the paddock and talking, Seb was cool as hell. Seb was cool as hell by even telling me to come take a walk with him. And we took our picture and had our conversation about him. And I definitely gave Seb his flowers and told him that he's a legend. You know what I'm saying? You're great in this sport. And I told him whatever it is that you do beyond this, I hope it's good for you, bro. Like, I hope you have a good time outside of Formula One. I hope whatever it is that you take, those next steps that you take in your life are good and pay back dividends for you, because you definitely have done something in the sport of Formula One. So big shout out to Seb, whatever he may do. I know some of us were talking about maybe Seb coming back and being team principal for Ferrari. I don't think that's going to happen. And, yeah, this is where we are. There's going to be a lot of movement and a lot of talk about these drivers, how they're going to be coming in and out, what they're going to be doing. We want to know what Alonso's going to bring to Aston Martin. I don't think he's going to bring much at all. I think Aston might have wasted a seat and the opportunity to raise their ceiling as far as drivers coming into other seats. Alonso's there to be a bag. If that was anything, I think maybe Seb was just ready to go. But we're going to see if not only Aston progress, but if Alonso can take what they bring out and put it in better positions than he did when he was with Alpine. If that doesn't happen, not only is that going to be an indictment on Alonso, but that's more so going to be an indictment on Aston Martin as far as the car development and as far as strategy and team, what they're going to do. So I've said before, Alonso is a standard, okay? They had Seb. If Seb can't take your car to the top of the grid, it's because your car is not top of the grid worthy. If Alonso can't take the Aston Martin further than he did with Alpine and place it in better positions than they had last season, I'm not going to say it's Alonso. Alonso is a two-time champion. He is a good driver on the grid. I don't think Alonso is a legend to me in my perception. He's not a legend. To me, like Seb's a legend. Lewis Hamilton, without a doubt, is a legend. Schumacher's a legend. Senna's a legend. Niki Lauda's a legend. Like, Niki Lauda's a legend, period, for what he done. Now, I know some people going to say, oh, but he doesn't have as many championships. Niki Lauda changed the game within how he came into Formula One. It's an iconic, historical thing with him and Hunt in that battle. And he was driving in a different era, which is far rougher than what is going on right now. Although more faster and more competitive with the technology and everything involved, raw speed and ability, and your life literally was more closer to being on the line in those days. Niki Lauda was racing. He's a legend. And shout out to Mercedes for having the Lauda drive. They named the street after Niki. He's always going to be remembered. But to me, I don't look at Alonso like any of those guys. Two-time champion, great, cool, you did that. Okay, I'll even give you a great driver in that time. What is he doing now? Definitely not better than Lewis Hamilton is doing. Definitely not. He's definitely not better than Lewis Hamilton. Alonso's not better than Max Verstappen. Alonso, to me, is not even better than Sergio Perez, Checo. I'm just saying, just being honest. That's for real. He might lightweight not even be better than Russell. So, there it is. So, but still, he's a good standard to have to say, if this car progresses, what can you do with it? Same as Vettel there. If Vettel couldn't do it, four-time champion, back-to-back, youngest world driving champion in Formula One, most successful Red Bull driver that they've ever had in their history right now, unless Max Verstappen changes that by getting more than 4 world driving championships with the constructor Red Bull. Seb is that. So we'll see what happens with Danny Rick, but I think he's done. He's talking about riding across the United States of America from California to New York on a small motorbike. That's like some Forrest Gump shit that Daniel Ricciardo's talking about doing. He talking about going to Super Bowls. He talking about going to like all these monuments. And Daniel Rick is talking about being on vacation beyond. Daniel Rick damn near is talking about being retired. That's what it should be called. It should be called Red Bull's Retired Driver Program, because all the talk from Danny Rick was pretty much like retirement. And I was one who said I didn't think Danny Rick was done. I think he's still better than some drivers on the grid. Now, those drivers that I would name, you might say, Jay, those drivers ain't great, right? Those drivers are not great. That's true. You might say that. Drivers I think Danny Rick is better than, I would say he's better than Latifi, but Latifi ain't on the grid anymore now, is he? No, he's not. I would say that he's better than Ocon. I would say that Danny Rick is better than Ocon. I would say he's better than Stroll. I don't know if I can say he's better than Yuki, but I'll put it out there. Is he better than Gasly? I think he's better than Gasly. Better than Zhou? Maybe. I say he's better than Zhou. But so going into any drivers, like I can't give you other top drivers that Danny Rick is better than. He's not better than Lando, and numbers show it. He's not better than Sainz. He's not better than Leclerc. He's not better than I ain't going to say Danny Rick. Shit, I ain't going to even say he's better than Alonso, maybe. Can't even say that. But yeah, I mean, he still deserves to be on the grid. But Danny Rick, to me, made a step towards, let me see. Did I miss a super chat? Let me see. Because I'll be getting in talking. Okay, Galacticus. Seb would be good for Extreme E as a spokesperson. Ooh, Galacticus. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I think Danny Rick would be cooking the book. I think Seb would be better. I think Seb would be a better spokesperson in F1 than Extreme E, but I think Extreme E needs way more light and attention than they're getting. I like watching Extreme E. If anything, I would prefer to see Seb participate in Extreme E like Saint Senior. I would prefer to see Seb do that. Won't take a crap anymore for real, Jay. Props to you. Won't take crap anymore for real. Hey, facts. Like, trust me, I don't be worried about these damn trolls. I don't be worried about these haters. I'm not even gonna focus my attention anymore on other content creators that might be throwing shade on other content creators, like for real. But trust me, I will respond, but I think right now the community needs more positive than negative. And anything going further than that would have to get more negative. And y'all don't need that. Y'all don't deserve that. My community doesn't deserve that. Other communities don't deserve that. That's not what you all here for. Y'all can always go watch UFC, right? You can go watch UFC. You can go watch boxing. Y'all are not here to see other content creators fight against other content creators. It should have never happened. It should have never started. But definitely a response was going to be warranted. But going forward, we definitely going to keep better energy and do all that other good stuff. So we'll see what happens going forward. We'll see what happens with Danny Rick. I'm telling y'all, if anything happens to Max or Sergio and Danny Rick does not get to drive the RB19 or whatever they may call it, y'all are going to see what Red Bull's real plans for Danny Rick was just strictly good PR. Sad, but definitely probably true. All right. Next, like I said, want to see Jamie shout out, climb up that Indy series, maybe get a shot at Formula E and then get a shot at Formula, 2, Formula 1, maybe even history. She is, I think she is going to be maybe the second lady to drive in the Indy series, at least the Indy next series. So that's a big accomplishment as well. And I think the fact that it's a big accomplishment is also an indictment on the things that may be unfair. It shouldn't be a big accomplishment. I think that we've seen women compete, especially when it comes to driving, and be good at it. Like, shout out to the Four Sisters. Just saying, they wrecking it up. They doing their damn thing too. So we'll see what happens going forward. There's a lot of things that are still going to come out. I want to see what Nick DeVries does with AlphaTauri. I want to see what Gasly's going to do with Alpine. I want to see the innovation and development of Aston Martin, and can Alonso take that car up the grid. I want to see what's going to happen with Mercedes in the W14 or whatever they're going to call that variation of their next car. I want to see if McLaren can get their act together and go ahead and get some things back together, given all the data that they got this season into next season. I know that they still have some delays going on with their facility as far as their sim and their wind tunnel. So I'm hoping that those things get worked out, because that may impact them a bit more. We're going to see what happens with Red Bull, and if the 10% of win. Listen, if anything happens with Red Bull not performing as good as they did this season basically the new season of the new regulations and the new car, it's just going to be because teams are now catching up. The 7 million and the 10% was not enough. All right. And I don't think that's enough to derail them. If anything derails them, it's going to be because other teams. Mary Beanie, shout out, Jay. I'm on about my situation. Wildcat, love to you. Definitely shout out to Wildcat, and the fam. We definitely already said it. Condolences to the Wildcat family. We're going to say that all the time. If they lost one, we lost one. So condolences to them. So, yeah, let's see what happens. Don't forget, we're going to be live tomorrow, 2 a.m., 1400 Eastern Standard Time, for the grudge racing, all right? The track is going to be Miami, baby. We're going to be grudge racing in Miami. Hopefully Joshua will be there. Hopefully Broken Hypocrite will be there. Wildcat already said, even though he's going to be in travel, he's probably going to take his system with him so he could be there with the family, participate. It might help keep his mind more positive than not. By the way, that is the alarm. We are 3 minutes off the market opening. Market has been horrible. I'm not giving you any financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor, nor should you take my financial opinions. But this is definitely a time that you may want to consider buying into some stocks at a lower rate. 52-week lows have been happening all over the place. Probably stay away from cryptocurrency. I'm staying away from cryptocurrency. You do what the hell you want to. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm not giving you stock market advice. I'm not a financier. I'm not any of that. I'm not certified. Don't take my advice. Do your research. Make your own buying decisions, all right? So, yes, it will be 2 p.m. Eastern Standard U.S. time, around 7 p.m. UK across the pond time. Be here, be live. Check out the drivers. The last race we had was awesome. It was awesome. Unfortunate for two of our race-winning drivers, which is Joshua and Brian, Broken Hypocrite. Brian has 2 race wins in his pocket. Joshua has 1. And now our last race winner, I believe, who was our last race winner? Was it Alex? Or was it Guess Why Ben? Damn, our last race winner. I can't remember our last race winner, but it was somebody who hasn't won a race. That was their first time winning a race. So, hey, it might be you. If you need to send me you need to go ahead and send me an invite on EA's platform, on the Xbox platform. But if you cross-playing, send me that invite on EA's platform. Wolfpack F1, go ahead and get you in there. Be looking out for the post. All right, I'll post when we going until we get the Discord up. Then everybody that's a member will be in there. If you're not a member, you won't have access to the Discord group, point blank, period. But all the drivers, everything else, I will also probably set up something for that so they can have one place of communication. So that's still being worked out. Guess Why Ben was the winner. Thank you very much. Guess Why Ben was the last race winner. So that was really cool. So yeah, we got people winning. We got people really getting their game up. I done seen a lot of the drivers, they purchasing steering wheels now. They not working off the D-pads. Wildcat working on something, coming with a special wheel for his setup. So I'm not going to say too much. You might see some DZP members in there again. We have Fallen Angel show up from DZP, Broken Hypocrite from Delta Zero Productions. We might see some more of those drivers. We're going to see what happens. But I will see you all tomorrow live for the E-Grudge Racing. Don't be surprised if you see me live again today, because you never know what news may pop and what may come out I might want to get on to talk about. Subscribe, join the family members, do all of that good stuff. Get live in the comment section, get live in the live chat. Big shout out to everybody for super chats. We do have new family members. I'm going to post those new family members probably today or Monday at the top where I do all the super chat members. So we going in. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow. Go get some breakfast, drink your waters, take your vitamins. COVID's out here, the flu's out here. I want y'all to stay healthy, all right? Peace.